Hey, everybody, we're in a giggly mood today. Hello, hello, hello. And welcome to Live with Cheryl. And this is season whatever it is. I say season 6, but we can have an uber long season. We can have a short season, but we're glad you're here. My name is Cheryl Mebane. I am the host. I am an artist and a researcher, and I'm interested in health and interested in connecting with y'all. And we have our special guest, Dr. Felicia Mebane, who is our public health ninja extraordinaire. And we are very happy that she is here with us. Hooray, 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 hooray.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to try to put some clapping in there and see if we can clap, clap, clap it up. And I'm like, well, I'm not getting the clapping. How's that? How's that? Isn't that high tech for you? Yay! But welcome, welcome everybody. So what we usually do is start off with how you doing? How's it going, Felicia? What's going on? How's every little thing? Let me get this out the way. Hello.
Oh, okay, listen. The headline is our allergies, okay? I'm just saying. Enough said.
Pollen is just coating everything. I said, is there a kid in the neighborhood who's doing like chalk drawings or something? No, it's just the pollen is thick. Yeah, like there's a lot of yellow chalk they're using. Maybe we should get them some other
That is
colors.
hilarious. That's hilarious.
My son
And
had to say, no, mommy. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm not one to wash my car every week,
Yeah.
conserving, energy and resources and stuff,
Yep.
but I was in the middle of the parking lot and I purposely parked between, like, where there were no trees right overhead, did not matter. On a particular day, it still got loaded with pollen.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's like, okay, we get it. This is the time of year. But then what was shocking for me was we have all this beautiful warm weather where we are. After we had nice cool weather, springtime in our part of the world is just
it's
all
like a
over the
roller
place.
coaster. It goes up. Yeah,
It's a roller
exactly.
coaster. And you know what? I'm blessed that we're having something warm because then I just move around. We're starting to do a garden this year. We're doing a garden.
Oh,
So
yes.
yeah, yeah. Since we moved back to North Carolina, we had not done one because we were trying to settle in and prioritize other things. But so now we're out there and the weather's nice for it. So hopefully we don't get another frost because that will mess up our little plans. But can't
Yeah,
control any of it. But you're just hoping, hoping. So we were out and
exactly.
about.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I
we'll
mean, I
contribute some more
know.
pollen.
Well, it's particularly bad this year, I think, because we've had a
Mm,
lot of precipitation,
yeah.
snow, rain, all of that, and the
Yep.
warmer temperatures too, even though it went down. And listen, I think the weather here where I am is awesome because the trees,
Yep.
after we get past this period, it's amazing. There's
Yeah.
so much
Beautiful blossom.
green and exactly, it's amazing. But this is
Yeah.
a transition period because it's a weather transition. We went to daylight savings
Oh
time, and then the
yeah.
pollen, comes in. The pollen for me is in waves because I react to certain things and not other
Yeah.
things. And you're like, oh my gosh, why not? And then all of a sudden, you're like, okay, well that
Right.
was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's just it's a transitional time of the year, right?
It
So in terms of
is.
weather and everything,
It
so
is.
it's an interesting time, and I there's lots of great things about it too. So.
That's so true. And it's good for us to think about that. If you can find anything great going on anywhere at any time, please just share, tell us about it because, we always need more great things to celebrate. Um, but yeah, I'm glad to hear you're like enjoying some things about the time of year. This is a beautiful time of year where we live, but it's also one where things are always changing up. And that feels like that's the case in a lot of stuff, especially since I've been running my own creative business. That goes at a nice, quick pace. So projects clearing up, finishing up, other projects coming back. I'm like, oh, okay, this one's going here, this one's going there. Transition period is what is the name of the game for some of the AI projects, because y'all know I've been doing those a lot. So I'm gonna go to my little updates, let y'all know what I've been doing. The name of the game for me has been okay, fast and furious with different AI related clients, but also step over and still do some other things for the longer term projects in my business. So that's been hectic a little bit because blessings, I've had quite a few AI related clients. I think I mentioned last time on Live with Cheryl, I started doing some session directing. Did I tell you about that? Yeah, I told y'all about that. So that's been going well. And then that project probably is going to restart. It finished up one wave and maybe we'll get another wave. And it's made me feel like excited to think about all kinds of possibilities. People that I was studying screenwriting with, some of the folks are with this independent film school. Ella Tier is the one who runs it. And she's a filmmaker who got her career trajectory really accelerating through making her own films, starting with shorts and then features that are indie budgets and then more and more. So she teaches people that kind of path. And so if you're thinking about going that path, which a little bit I am thinking about doing a little bit of because I worked with a colleague of mine to shoot a short. I'm still editing it, but that's one of the things that's a step along the way, right? So I was thinking about how I was directing in that capacity and directing in the voice acting capacity. So it's got me, I would say, appreciative of how much you want to give your collaborators a lot of room, but not having a clear vision is no one's friend. So I always am like happy that for my own project I have a clear vision, but then for some of these other projects it's a client's vision that you're trying to make sure you understand. And so sometimes it's like, okay, when I'm doing my own thing, I know what I want to do. And then some of the projects I'm doing is very improvisational. And so the client's vision is what comes up that's authentic. So people are like, is that okay? It's like, yeah, if that was real for you, then that's the answer. So there's a little bit less of the reassuring people because it doesn't come from me, the director, that this is my vision. It comes from be real, playing that character. And then wherever it goes, it goes. Does that make sense?
It does, and I'll have to say, I in my professional life,
Mm,
what you were saying about when the ideas come from me, of course, I'm locked in and I inspire
yeah.
and inform other people. When the idea comes from somewhere else, I
Mm,
always have a little hiccup because it's like I have to find some way to translate into my own language so I can absorb it and then do it. I have no
yeah.
problems, taking someone else's vision and doing what I
Yeah.
need to do, but I
Mm-hmm.
have always felt that there was the challenge of what you talking about with this,
Absolutely. Always.
And then
Always. Even if it's
okay,
just
okay, okay. Let
small.
me just shift my thinking a little bit. Let me lock into
Always.
it. And then once I'm locked in, I'm
Then
good
you
to
can do
go.
it. But that's so true. It's so true because I guess if people don't have that moment, you're like, well, how deep are we going into trying to run with the person's vision? Because I think sometimes if people are too frightened to admit that they need to do a transition, we don't ask enough questions or settle with something in advance enough because we're trying to
Right,
pretend that, okay, well, we get it, we get it. It's like,
right,
ask a
right.
question. It's okay to ask a clarifying question or like
Yes,
review
exactly.
something or or say, is it okay if I
Exactly.
change this? Like people say all the time, they're like, I don't want to work with an actor who doesn't push back. I was watching one of these interviews recently. I've been watching a lot of media about media, and people were talking who were actors about directors that they're working with. And I think it was the late Stanley Kubrick, maybe. Anyway, I think it was Nicole Kidman was saying he didn't want people to just do whatever he said. He wanted them to have a little like, I really want to change it
Mhm,
this way, or what
mhm,
about that? If they really genuinely had an idea, and I've heard
mhm.
that from other people. It's like we want you to come
Mhm.
in with something, and
Yeah,
then make
yeah,
it your own. Then
yeah,
work with
yeah.
me, push pull, push pull. Is
Right,
that what you
right.
do sometimes too? Like sort of when you see something could go awry, just sort of
Oh,
speak up.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, I'm far enough in my career where, I mean, that's what I get paid to do. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm
Exactly.
able to share my expertise and experience, but
That's it.
I also know you have to know where, like how to do that appropriately when you
Mm-hmm.
do just need to jump. But even if I
Mm-hmm.
do what I have to do, I'll find some kind of way to communicate it, even if it's after the fact, because I have an
Absolutely.
obligation to make it as good
Yeah.
as I think it needs to be, even as I'm following someone else's vision. I mean, there are
Yeah.
hierarchies you have
Totally.
to
Yeah.
sort of play with, and sometimes you're lucky enough to have some autonomy, but as long as I'm being paid by someone else, I have to always remember the structure that I'm in. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
thing that I find fascinating about the pushback situation is
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's so many people who have tips and blogs and everything, and then people hear, oh, you need to express yourself and push back, and then you
Okay.
get, excuse me, why are we, like, what point are you trying to make here? Like, some people I think do it to, they think the act of doing it gets them enough credit, even if they don't
Yeah.
have anything particularly
Yeah.
constructive to say, or
Yeah.
anything that moves it forward, or it's almost like I've been in meetings throughout my career where everybody felt like they had to say something.
Yes.
I'm just like, oh,
Yes.
that's not the point, you know. And so,
Yes.
but some people, how do you do an interview? How are you? be a professional. You have to push back. You have to negotiate. And if you genuinely, are motivated to do that, no problem. Go for it. If
Right.
you
There's a
feel really
reason.
strongly about, but some people, I think, sort of do it as a check one, check two. I spoke up. I said something.
It
So
feels hollow, doesn't it? Because it's like,
yeah.
it feels like if somebody is speaking up because they see something, then they're like almost like, okay, I don't want to have to say it because I want us to just keep going, but you know what? I'm paid to do it. I got to do it. I see something, say something type of thing. And when
Yes.
it's if it's the other way, you're just like, oh, it's participation credit we're going for now. Like we all got to
That's
get
what it feels like
participation credit.
sometimes. Like, listen, guys, you don't have to say something every meeting. Trust me, it's okay. But then on the other hand, like, I'm that way. You don't have to, and then people kind of don't believe you because they're so used to feeling like they need to do it. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
But
The
anyway,
cultures. Yeah.
Oh no,
No, it's
go
just
ahead.
different cultures, different workplace cultures. It's not even
What?
like
Yes.
general to a specific industry or academic discipline. It's just like your little team does it this way. Dr. Felicia does it this way. Somebody else does another way,
Oh, okay. So I went to a conference recently, and it was
Oh, yeah.
about educating people about a certain chronic disease.
Okay.
And one of the points that was made was it's also cultural, right? So in some families, the kids are taught, I'm the adult. I'm going to lay this out, push back, and there's a way to do it. So then when they go into an education session, the teacher is some kids are just free with it because that's what they do in their families. And they're saying, oh, that person's slow. No, they're taught that the authority figure behaves this way. I behave this way. And then, so you do have to, even though I was saying, oh, yeah, you don't have to speak out, but I do, as a team leader, you would want to sort of recognize that, at least get to know your team well enough to kind of say, okay, I see what you're doing. That's really great. It's not necessarily for me, you're saying in this unit, you don't necessarily have to do that. Or just let people do it because I recognize that they mean well. You know what I mean? They're really trying to do the right thing versus people who are just literally trying to, again, get extra credit or whatever. So it's fascinating to work with people and figure out these dynamics. Yeah.
It's fascinating when you have a thing that you are doing that everyone is here and we really do want to get it done. Because sometimes you'll get in collaborations and you feel like, well, is somebody just trying to put their heels down and drag so it doesn't get done? That's where I do get into like some senses of like, okay, wait a minute. There's a disturbance here that we can't overcome. Usually with collaboration, it's like, well, I'm gonna yes and you, like doing improv. What you're gonna offer, I'm gonna say yes to that. I hear that and try to figure out something I can take with that and go with it, which is how those sessions were going because these were improvised conversations. So it's very improvisational. And I like to do that with a lot of collaboration until you get to the point where you realize, oh, this person's just trying to just not have it go at all. And it's like, well, I'm gonna yes and that in theory, if you wanted this to actually work, maybe that could be something we try. But since you just messing around, then thankfully that's less often in the professional setting and a little bit more in a private setting, like personal settings. There are dynamics in all kinds of relationships, y'all. And sometimes husband and wife dynamics is not going to explicitly be a no. It's going to be a let's redirect her attention over here. He's slick, y'all. My husband's not his first word. Whatever works. That's what he said. By any means. Any means. She's smart, but if I don't want to debate her, I can at least like get her to debate something over here. And then she's side focused. And I'm like, took me only like 5 years to figure it out.
It's a skill. It's a skill to be able to do that. Yeah, because I have a pretty strong personality, and I sometimes just bounce in, and then I've realized no. Sometimes you have to be quiet first, kind of figure out the overall cultural dynamic, and then weave your personality into it. If you don't, if you want to fit in a certain kind of way, if you don't mind being disruptive, go for it.
True, very true. That's a good point.
But yeah, so
yeah, it's just fun to when you are not pressed for something, like when it's a creative endeavor and okay, we've got what we really need. Now we can just see about trying something else. And it's a lot of fun. When it feels like, okay, this group really has to do something that is really hard. We have to gel and it's not gelling this. Like, thankfully, I haven't been in that situation in a while, but I have been in that situation with some AI projects. And it's like, look, I'm just not here for y'all because I don't gel with what y'all trying to do. So probably best I go over here, and good luck to y'all because I don't know how y'all about to do that, but sometimes you just have to go, okay, they see a vision that I don't see. And so I'm going to step out the way because I'm speaking up saying, hey, I don't think it's going to gel. And they're like, well, whatever. Being on a project where they've had a lot of iterations before I came there and canned everybody but a couple people and then brought the rest of us in. So, it's been a bumpy road. And I'm like, well, there might be another bump. I bumped off of that road because this iteration, I'm like, um, y'all are ignoring a part of your, operating specs or, sort of guidance. And I'm like, eventually people can do that and it's not got to be a big deal. But I'm just like, why don't you just rewrite the guidance? But sometimes that's another battle. You know what I mean? So sometimes they're going to do it informally. And then I'm like, well, but that's something I don't even think y'all should rewrite. So I'm like, y'all should fight that fight and take it out if y'all can get people to agree. But I don't even think y'all should get people to agree. Like, I don't even think that, you know what I mean? So I'm like, it's very interesting to me for me to call because I'm such a yes and like try to work with people. I will stay way too long in a place I really don't fit because I'm sort of like, oh, well, I can see this and that. And I'm like, let me just speak up and say my piece and get on out of here because it's not going to work for me to have to like try to keep pulling over away from what is on paper that makes sense is why I got in the project. But now we're moving over here and nobody wants to really state it and really say why. And it's like, it's time for me to bounce. Deuces, y'all. I got other projects. I'm out. Good luck. I wish you well. I really do, though, because some of these projects have been really interesting. And you can see the progress people are making in training these different AI models. So, if they got some way to keep it cooking and they know they can do it, then go on. But I'm going to put an asterisk next to maybe don't use that model because I'm like, I don't know how they wrap it up at the end. I'm not naming any names. I'm just like, I may not want that output.
That is so interesting.
I don't know. But
Sometimes
they
you don't
probably
want to
keep
know how the
going.
sausage is made. You know what I mean? You just want to enjoy the
Sometimes you
sausage.
don't want to know. Sometimes you don't because then you say, "How are we gonna get in there?" It's like, "Oh, it's fine. It's fine. You can retrain it in your little way with your prompt engineering, and you'll be fine." I'm like, okay, mm, probably. I don't know, but so yeah, but that's been interesting for me. But one of the things of working with so many different projects, as opposed to a couple years ago when I first started out with the AI projects that have been making me more money in my business. Um, I now have several different things, several different groups. I'm not as desperate to like hang on to something that's just not the best fit. Now I'm a little bit more like, okay, the pay is good and the project could be something I could learn from and I could contribute to, but also is it something I'm gonna have fun with? I like this was part of a training I was taking. I keep on taking still more training about doing these keynote concerts, me rebranding my speaking business. So I'm still going to these monthly calls that the head person who sort of runs this little group for people who are trying to do keynote concerts. So he has these monthly calls for everybody who's part of his training, people who have paid for these trainings. So I was on there recently and he was talking about really valuing yourself in your business, especially creative business, especially around musicians who've been used to being underpaid for like most of what we're doing, who are not the like point oh whatever percent of the really well-known musicians who make a bunch of money. The rest of us are trying to just make sure that we are not underpaid, let's put it that way. And so we're very conditioned to take scraps. And so for the keynote concerts, we're all moving our music skills and packaging with speaking skills and then getting speaker budgets. That's a lot better money than musician budgets. And you also bring your speaking skills, so you have other skills that command that money. But you're talking about, several orders of magnitude more for an event than what you would typically get playing like a bar gig or even sometimes a wedding. Sometimes there are little budgets and stuff, but still. not the same thing as being a speaker. So he was just saying that you got to think about quoting things that make you uncomfortable. In order to grow, you got to feel uncomfortable. So if the budget you're quoting doesn't make you a little bit uncomfortable, how are you growing your business? I said, oh, and I'm now thinking about that for a bunch of areas of my business. And I'm thinking, yeah, if I want to grow in other areas, you grow, you know, okay, I'm going to leave behind this concept and bring on another concept. And I'm going to feel a little uncomfortable as I leave behind the old concept. It's going to feel weird. Yet somehow I'm thinking I'm going to grow the income of my business and it won't feel weird to leave behind the smaller budgets and go to the other ones. And he's like, yeah, and it should feel very uncomfortable when you make a bigger leap, because he's talking to musicians who are used to playing for tips. He's talking to musicians who are, you know, the budgets are so different. He's like, how are you seriously going to command this attention over here and be taken seriously over there if you don't leave behind some of the small that you're doing? And I say, well, that's a very good point. But you know me, I've been doing music with licensing to try to move away from small budgets and over to things I can do in different areas of the music and film and TV industry for a long time. So I haven't been doing local gigs that usually offer less money for years, you know, not since I moved from the Bay Area. But some folks are still having that be a cornerstone and they're sort of like holding on. I'm like, well, let me see if I can move on from smaller budget situations with AI to bigger budget. I was just holding on, happy to have it. Now I'm like, well, maybe I should see about trying to see about a better fit. And also he was talking about, why does it in your business have to be that we all have this hustle culture in business? Why are we pushing on? It has to feel hard. If you're doing the right thing, why does it not feel joyful? Why does it not feel like there's abundance coming to you? Now, y'all know we work hard, okay? So it's not like we don't put the hours in to get the skills up. But then he's saying, you don't have to make everything hard. Like you've already built all these skills that people need. You don't have to keep looking for it to be hard. Go ahead and take a big check. Go ahead and ask for a big check. That can be uncomfortable, but it doesn't have to necessarily be hard and you making it hard and you're not going to take a big budget because it's supposed to feel hard. You know, you got to be on the struggle, always grinding. And I'm like, that whole transformation of your mindset about money, I was triggered. I was like, oh, I've definitely done some improvements of thinking about that for acting because when I started out with acting, it was, you know, the art that I have brought in really more recently compared to like music and writing. And so I was just starting out. This is 2018, left EPA, just you start out with anything. Then over time, I said, okay, well, got a start. Some of my clients even said, charge more. You're really great, charge more. They were like, we see other narrators out here doing, this was me doing audiobooks at the time. And so I had somebody I had repeat client and they were like, you offer a lot. You really given a caliber of a higher pay rate, go up. And I was like, thank you. Because they were working with a lot of different people and a lot of different books. And so they knew that. And I'll never forget them. Thank you for that. Thank you. But so I've already had some stages of that. But then I got to a point where I was like, okay, I now can eke out something in this business. Now I want to stick and I don't want to do the keep progressing with the money that you get because I'm scared about, oh, what if I price myself out of too many opportunities with say AI or whatever part of the business. And I was like, ooh, fear-based decision making, as opposed to give it a try and then see if you have to go back, you roll it back. But if not, you then grew the business. Does it have to be fear-based? You like, don't give it a try it out and see, Thoughts, Dr. Felicia?
Yeah, I mean, there's research to show that, you know, people who are, I guess, more inexperienced, women, people of color, people who don't necessarily have in their family or direct experience either the concept of negotiation or the way folks are prejudged to feel like they shouldn't do it, or like you're conditioned sometimes not to be greedy, don't ask for too much. All kinds of reasons, why are they on their side? You get what there are all kinds of reasons why people undervalue themselves is what I'm getting to. And so it's almost like for some people, it's almost, whatever you think it should be, you can probably double it and it's probably okay. Because if they do really value what they see you can contribute, they'll come back and say, well, can we do this? And, so yeah, so there again, with all of our conversations, there are these dynamics happen in a lot of different settings.
So many different settings. It's just so funny to me how I would think that because I had in my business plan that I want to grow this business to something really, really lucrative, something that people would get if you got your pilot for like a limited series greenlit with a major streamer, or if you were able to sell your screenplay feature length and just got even the WGA minimums. These are bigger amounts of money. And then if you go and have your career grow and grow, what could you get down the road in screenwriting? And so I had that in my business for a long time. But it was almost like I was like, but that's just a dream. It's like, well, no, that's what we're working toward. It's not just a dream. It's like that can happen. Like, like, why am I underselling it just because it's really cool? It's like, no, like this is the cool fun. This is the really fun part when it gets really, really big, as opposed to a sense of like desperation if you don't get there. It's like, no, it's never supposed to be that. It's more like, couldn't that be really cool and amazing and fun and abundant? And it's like, oh yeah, all that stuff sounds great and not greedy and not all of a sudden you sitting there making art you have no business making. It's like, no, that's like, I can't even get myself to actually write anything that doesn't have a little something in there at this point that I care about, because you just can feel how hollow it is if you sit there and write something that you have no link to. So,
I guess, in some regard, like I am not at all minimizing though the concept that sometimes people have to do that. I mean, you've got
have to
to
do what?
do things that's not part of their heart. You know what I mean? You have to, in order, you have to earn money to pay your bills, and and it may not be aligned with what you either want to do or thought you would be doing. I mean, that happens in people's jobs and careers. But I
Sure.
also, like with my team, whenever I hire people, I always tell them, okay, here's the purpose of the unit, but I encourage you to if you can be open with me about your aspirations in 5 years, then
Mm,
we can talk about one thing that you can do that is connected to what I need you to do, but positions you for your next step. And then that
yeah.
way, bring that passion to it. So, in other words, sometimes people have to take the jobs they're qualified for because they need the jobs that they're qualified for. But I do think
Yeah.
it is helpful when you can think of some aspect of it that you can bring in something you're passionate about, or, that's of you. So that it is more enjoyable. It's, something that can lead to other things that you're more interested in, for example.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something when I work for clients that I'm not worried about shoving in a huge amount of things that fit all that I do when I'm working for myself. But when I'm working for clients, I am still sort of trying to see where that good fit is. And honestly, my husband was like, listen, you got to look where you're getting booked. Like the places that you get booked over and over again are the ones that overlap your actual values more. So it's not even like people are trying to book you over here to do something counter to what you really want to do. That's not true. In fact, it goes the other way. So yeah, I think for me, because I run where I'm constantly having clients and new clients, is always about, is it worth me pitching for them to even try to work with them? And that's where you have to get real about why would you be a great fit for them and why are they a great fit for you? And then even decide to do it. So it's not so much me navigating a long-term position because I run a business and have a lot of different clients. So then it's more about why would you spend the time thinking you would be a good fit with X if you didn't have something to bring that you already had cooking yourself? That's where, sometimes I'm pitching as an actor and I'm like, oh yeah, I carry this background with my science background, and that might be interesting to folks. And they'll be like, oh, so you don't mind reading XYZ? I'm like, yeah, I don't know all niches of science, but I'm comfortable trying stuff. So it's a little bit different to have a long-term position that you do your full time and all your career versus to be working with like 40, 50 clients every year and be always thinking you run your own business. So you always have to think to run the
Yeah.
marathon or running the business, you have to sort of you can't pretzel yourself into too many weird little things. You have to sort of have an overlap of skills. Otherwise, it's like, how do
Sure.
you keep yourself sharp and ready to go unless you are working for
Yeah.
clients that sort of have synergy with what else you're doing?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. So there's some connection there because the best
Yeah.
thing is you have a job that is longer term. I don't know if anybody goes into jobs for 30, 40 years anymore, but anyway,
Mm,
but even if
mm.
it's a full-time job where you're part of an organization, so you have a specific role, it does feel the best when your passions align with the work that you're getting paid to do.
Yeah.
Like that's the
It's like,
best.
woo. It's like,
Exactly.
you really
But there
got it.
are
You did
little
it.
ways that you can bring some of that in sometimes if you have to get a position for expediency purposes, so
Oh yeah.
anyway, yeah.
That's a journey that I have definitely been on in my previous iterations of how I, pay the bills where I am. Definitely. Little trying to get different projects or little mini projects or even a temporary assignment that fits better. So yeah, definitely been there, done that. Now I feel like with other challenges, I can still remember doing that, but it's a little bit different when you're running your own business versus when you're navigating within somebody else's shop. But you guys, we've already gone through another half hour of Live with Cheryl. Let's do a quick wrap up of things. I didn't even get to all the updates. I'm over here on Patreon with things for patrons. Thank you, patrons, for y'all's support. Thank you, patrons. Thank you. I've got another posting over there. I've got a live chat next Thursday for patrons over there, but patreon.com/Cheryl Mebane. There's a fun piece of music there with special guests. I'll just leave it at that. Y'all can check it out who are patrons. Go to patreon.com/Cheryl Mebane. And once a month, I'm just adding things there, and there'll be more things there as we go through 2026, y'all. But forget about the other updates. Music is musicking, writing is writing, I'm pitching, I'm doing the things. AI is AIing. As far as like, doing the training and stuff. I gotta say, it's for somebody who uses AI so little, it's sort of funny because I really don't keep using it. I've used it at certain points and explored it for like mastering. Because a lot of people, again, are very protective of like, you can't expect AI to generate anything you want to have intellectual property ownership over. So you have to make sure you're not, as a creative person, using that for like final stuff. So then a lot of people flag it for, but you can use it for like mastering your mixes. So I've tried that a little bit. Use it for different ideation stages early on, but not your final writing. So I've done that, but I gotta say it's just funny because I suppose messing around with it in different ways. I guess I get my itch scratched working with AI by being paid to train models, and I'm over here just completely not using it. And it just feels like, well, okay, wouldn't you be into it? I'm like, I do spend a lot of time with AI. Maybe I like to have a little break. I don't know. Maybe you'll see me down the road using it for like I was thinking about using it for with my short film once I'm done doing the edits that I'm used to. I'm thinking about trying to use AI for some of the maybe different effects. So I've read a little bit about what it can do, but I'm so new in that there's a lot of stuff that are just in edit suites that are normal things that I could do without tapping AI that I'm sure could do a lot to polish things. So I'm just sort of baby new in there. So I don't know. Sometimes with AI, you can get like really weird stuff. So sometimes it's good to use it when you already know what the thing should look like anyway. So I'm like, maybe I should cut my teeth on basic editing suites. But I've been reading how people are using it who actually know what they're doing with editing suites of like short films. So we'll see what I do. I'll report back. I'll let y'all know. There's a lot of tools out there. So I'll try some things. I want to get to since we're trying some things and there's transition and there's all kinds of things to always be thinking about to help us try to be healthier. This is what I was thinking about, y'all, for physical activity. What does physical activity do for your good cholesterol level in the body? Just so it's so interesting. Like we often think about physical activity to affect certain other things, but good cholesterol level, not even just what we're eating affects that. Does it boost or reduce your good cholesterol level if you get some physical activity? So let me just put on a little tiny bit of music and see if we have anybody in the chat as we are wrapping up. I'll let y'all think about this. Let me see if I can play some music, put it on like this. Okay, here we go. Little music. And I'll go over to the chat and see what y'all think. Let me see. We might not have too many people because we've gone a little bit late today. Might have lost our fans here. Y'all gotta go your 9 o'clock things, you know. That's okay. Maybe you're thinking, Dr. Felicia says, pick her. Okay, let's stop the music and pick Dr. Felicia. What you got, Dr. Felicia? What you got? What do you think it is?
A, boost.
Absolutely right. Hooray. So this is the resource, and I thought it was just a good one to give a lot of different resources. Another WebMD article from a couple years ago talking about no matter your current weight, physical activity boosts good cholesterol. That's the high density lipoprotein or HDL levels in the body. There are all kinds of other benefits they're pointing to. I don't know about y'all, but when the weather gets nice, I do like to have some more outside activity, get a little bit more physical activity when you get that warmer weather where we are. There's lots and lots of benefits. So that could be a good resource if y'all want to check it out, that WebMD page. So y'all can either roll back this video, pause it, and write it down, or eventually I'll go and try to comment. I have not been over there commenting with the links to things. I apologize, y'all. But if y'all need it, y'all can always rewind this video and look at it and go to WebMD and find that little resource. Positive things we can do. Any movement we can get in, that helps in lots of ways. So good job, Dr. Felicia. So do you want to hear the theme song on the way out, or do you want to hear a different song that we already have on the way out? Because we have some other things that are right there. Different song. Awesome. So we'll see y'all again at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, May 7th. I cannot believe we're already going to think about May. I mean, we already had your birthday month, so we know we're cruising on. But I'm just a little bit shocked. It's April already. Thinking about May, the next time we're going to be together here for Live with Cheryl. 2026, y'all, is just going by. Very much just going by.
As a matter of fact, I'll just put in a little plug. This is our other sister's birthday month.
Yes, exactly. Another birthday month. And then it's going to be my baby's birthday month. And then it's going to be my birthday month. Anyway, it's you. And then it's her. And then it's y'all, it's going to be a good time. Good time all around. So let's put some other music on and we'll see y'all. Thanks for hanging out and talking about all kinds of things that hopefully help us out, help us stay hopeful. That's why I was like, hoping to stay helpful, hoping we're helpful, helping stay hopeful. Okay, I hope we're helpful. I want to help us be hopeful. Sure, all of that. Stay healthy, y'all. Let's get some good music going here. Let me see. I think I did Shine last time. Let's do Take It All because we hadn't done that in a while. All right, y'all. Bye.
You ever have one of those moments, right there, one of those moments when you realize something, hey now, you really need to shake things